What's up, everyone? We just here. Just gonna do some JDM driving. I'm bored as fuck. It's hot as hell outside. Play some lo-fi music and just drive around. Just trying to adjust the camera. Trying something new, but we'll do this later. Might just leave it like this for now. Just a lot better next time. I forgot the exact keys that you're supposed to press to kind of make it go inwards. So right now it's a little bit more zoomed out than it is. First, I'm down here on the map on pushing P servers. They got the cars running around here. And then no Hazy one, they don't have cars going down here. Let's just drive. Didn't come here to do too much. So hard. Well, the server just pooped the bed. So back out, rejoin, and then keep driving. Refresh it. Anyway, what day is it today? Shit. It's Tuesday, right? How's y'all Tuesday going? Mine is hot and just too damn hot. I wanted to go out and work today. I was like, fuck that. Hopefully tomorrow's weather is slightly different and then we can go outside. It's just too damn hot. Damn. That was weird. My wheel just pooped the bed. Oh my god, this is the thing with having so many shit plugged into your PC. Okay, it's still responsive. It went from force feedback to no force feedback. That was weird. I was driving just fine. Alright. Alright, everything's fine. Okay, I can still feel the wheel underneath me. That's so weird. But shit like that happens when you have so many crap plugged in on your computer. Alright, we're good. We're good. There has to be new part of the map that they're probably still working on. he's holding onto the brake a little too long, causing him to to go understeer. Just gotta soften the brakes like you're racing. I was on my phone. Oh gosh. check out around this. Why would you go there? Corolla, get out the way. Give up reaction. Sorry to drive like shit, I'm tired. Oh, God. There we go. Let's get by ourselves. There we go. Oh my God. This car is, bro. Fuck it, we just gotta go. Let's stop. They don't want me to go nowhere. They're like, this does it. Oh God. Keep forgetting not everybody has flipping triple setups. So he can't see me coming in his blind spot. Oh my god. But I'll be fired though. Well, I do it all the time with the homies, but even then we still fuck up even though we all have triples. Ah, that's it. I'm done. I'm starting to drive like shit. I'm tired. I'm over here pressing the brake while I'm going that fast. Oh my god. What time is it? 9:20. What can I do in the last week? Want to start a second channel where I just do like, I don't know, regular gaming videos? Because this channel. What up, Robbie G? Hola. I don't know if y'all could hear me before, but Robbie, my bad. I don't speak Spanish. I just wanted to, show some good gesture. That's all. He said me neither. All right. Alrighty, man. Oh, the sun's coming up. You can see it in the horizon. This man is hitting the dab in 2025. But yeah, can you imagine that people spend so much money on those long monitors and it doesn't even show the whole car? It only shows like half here and then half here. And then you spend like 1,000 something on those monitors just for what? Just for it to show half of the screen? It's crazy, man. People don't think. They just go in there with the big wallet and then they spend. No, you can just do triples. Triples show you everything. Everything. And then you get the little bezel kits and then you put them right here at the middle of the bezels. You just gotta make sure they're sitting perfectly so that way they look like they disappeared. But they're right here because if you can't really see it because all my stuff is black, but there's like the hook right there. As you can see, it's holding the kit. Instead of spending 1,000 on a LG long monitor, you can just spend $400 on a used 1080p or 1440, and then do this. And this works in a lot of games. It works on Enzoy, BeamNG, a lot of games that can support it. Call of Duty, I can play Call of Duty on triples. It looks insane, makes you turn your neck a lot, but you can do a lot of makes games look amazing though. Like you get to see like your character right here, but then you get to see the whole world around you. If you're playing like Horizon Zero Dawn or God of War can be standing right here, and then the enemy will be over here, and then run at him, and it just looks insane. Instead of having the one monitor where you can't see the enemy until they step into the screen. But this works better for Sims, It's not really something you should get for like regular stuff like that. What up, Jennifer? I gotta drive with one hand while the other hand is on my mic. Oh my god, that was close. So fun. If you're a car person, a car guy, a car female, this is a #1 must in your house. In your house, in your basement, in your garage, wherever the space is. Mine is in my garage. It's a #1 must. And I recommend if you're gonna do triples, don't do triples and have the monitor on top, because that takes away from the immersiveness. Have triples and buy a small monitor, like a 14.6-inch monitor, and have it right here in the center. That makes it a way better. You can still see all the telemetry and all the stuff when you're racing, but it's literally right there. And, you know, instead of having it right here where it takes away from the immersion, because people will be able to see that when you look up. But if you have it right here, you set it up right here like a center console, you don't, you know, it makes it look a lot more realistic. I don't know why people be having that big monitor up here, and then it's like all that light beaming at you, and then you're having a hard time seeing. It just takes away from the whole immersion. They make small monitors. They actually make monitors up to 80-inch on Amazon. They're very small. They don't come with the plastic design thing at the back of them, but it's still like a tiny miniature monitor of every sizes. And some of them are actually touchscreen, where you can touchscreen them. Mine isn't, because I was rushing to get this one. It was on sale. Then I ended up finding out there was a touchscreen version from the same company, and I was like, ah. But I'm definitely gonna get the touchscreen version. No, this way is a lot more better. What happened to the home easy? Did it take a break? Oh, there's a lot of players in there. Alright. Yeah, but once you set it up, you just gotta make sure your FOV is correct. One thing that I have noticed is for FOV, hold on. Let's see if I can talk. So, not sure if y'all can see the numbers or anything, but when you have everything set up correctly, spin the screen with the width of your screen. Once you have all the other three set up correctly how you want it, all you gotta start doing is adjust the spin the screen width of the screens, and then after that, what it does, it zooms it up and zooms it in, and you can have it set up just right. So one thing I always recommend, have this side of the car right here come towards this side of the center part of the monitor connection, and then your rear view mirrors will be over there on the side of your door mirror, your side door mirrors. And then I would just make it look perfectly. Also make sure the center console is a little pushed in towards the monitor's edge. A lot of people I see with this part right here, and then this whole part is like big as hell, and then that just makes it look so weird. But if you have this guy sitting right here or a little bit over here to the side, depending on the car you're hopping in, it makes it look perfect. I always get a lot of people, it's like, oh, triple setup is so expensive. Well, it is expensive if you're buying brand new, but if you buy used monitors, super cheap. I got 3 of these on eBay for plus tax $340. You know, they're selling them for cheap because they had a little bit of scratches on them on the bezels. But obviously, when you turn the monitors on, you don't see anything. So if you're buying them brand new, it's gonna cost you like $700 to $800, which is I was not gonna do. I'm not doing that shit. No, you're only using them to play. It's not like it's not like the fucking Xbox or PlayStation or some shit that you have to buy them expensive. It's fucking monitors. You look into them and that's it.
Sideways.
Yo, what up, JT?
Guess what I'm doing right now.
What dropped it?
See?
Hold on, I can't see it. Let me look. Oh, that's the beast build?
Yeah, it's gonna be the beast build. I just have a 2070 sitting in it right now, but yeah.
What's the CPU? Intel or AMD?
It's AMD.
AMD? Yes, sir. Well, I'm always AMD.
It's a
Four PCs,
it's
all
a
AMD.
Ryzen 5. So I'm gonna go. It's not gonna be. It's the only beast thing really about it is gonna be the graphics card that's gonna go in this. It's a Ryzen 5 7600X, but has 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM. I got a new water cooler. I had the Asus one here, but I had to go Corsair because I lost all the parts to the Asus one. But I'm trying to figure out the RGB on these fans now. And the fans, what they're not turning on. They just might be dead fans.
What, they're your old fans or brand new?
They're brand new. They're the ones that came in this case. I might low-key just change them.
No. Okay, so what you want to do is the ones that are working and where they're plugged? Well, no, that's the AIO. Never mind. That's
the AIO.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have it all set up, but I think it's because I don't have something plugged in for these.
Yep. You gotta get the. You got the controller. It's like a little. It's like a little box that has multiple fan plugs.
The Corsair fans. The Corsair fans. They run off of what's it called? Cube. I think it's called the Cube.
Yeah, the Corsair AIO fans. They're gonna work based as soon as you plug them into the CPU.
I low-key think that this case is not an RGB case for some reason then. Wanna know why?
No.
Unless they, I mean, they come with RGB headers.
Yeah, it's not the case's fault. It's you didn't buy the little RGB control panel thingy. I forgot what it's called, but it's like a thing. Yep, that exactly what I'm talking about.
But I bent this part on accident.
Yeah, you need that in order to make all the fans RGB on and it works simultaneously.
Yeah, but why are the fans not spinning? That's what I'm at least I'm trying to figure out why the fans are not spinning. That's just a fan I had sitting in here. It's like a little fidget toy. The Asus one. This thing is heavy.
Yeah, when I was building mine, I made everything was working. You know, it started up and everything, but my RGB was like, you know, I like everything to be like work right. If something's not working right, I'm not gonna be happy. So I kept turning the computer on and off to work on the RGB fans, and and I fried my motherboard doing that.
No, well, I'm not.
I took it back the next day to Micro Center and they did it for me.
What I'm doing is just, fuck. I can't think right now. That's where it is. I didn't freaking, I'm retarded. Is it plugged in? Hell no. That's what it is. Get that range thing. All this stuff right here. I don't even care about the RGB right now. As long as the fans work, am I right?
Yep, that's important. As long as the fans work. You know, I was just pissed off because I paid for the RGB. That's all. You know, when you pay for the stuff that you paid for, you want it to work. So.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Right here, plug in. I'm like I'm doing this shit without light. Crazy. There we go. I'm just a pro with it. Alright, now let's see if the fans decide to work. Oh, it's an Asus tough board. Got him.
They work?
Yeah. Ow, fuck.
Why would you put your...
No, they're loud.
Yeah, man, you about to experience a new and improved set of MOZA. It's gonna be so smooth.
There's the old computer. I still gotta take out my other stuff right there. So yeah, you take those fans out right here. I might low-key replace two of these fans right here with these two Corsair fans. To be honest with you.
I mean, at the end of the day, they're just fans. The only thing you don't want it to be is one.
I mean, I'm not really gonna be looking at them, but you know, it'd be nice.
Oh my god, God, that was sketchy.
Now I gotta learn how to. So, hey, sideways. If I take those out, right? All my hard drive and my SSD right there, right? You listening?
Yeah, I'm listening.
If I put it in here, will it all still have the same stuff on it?
Yeah, you don't gotta reset. Obviously, a lot of people, like the PC YouTubers, will recommend you having reinstalling Windows as fresh and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, you don't really have to unless you really want to.
I mean, I don't want to because I want to stay on Windows 10. I like Windows 10 Pro.
Okay, yeah. So you just plug it up into the new beast, and then it will. Only plug up one SSD or one hard drive. Don't plug up all of them at the same time because it does detect the one that has Windows. Once it detects the one that has Windows and it's connected,
that's just the thing. I'm trying to figure out what it has does.
Then you can plug up all the other ones after.
I'm trying to figure out which one has Windows.
Oh, then you gotta plug it up one by one.
Okay, well, I'll probably just get lucky. I think it's on my my hard drive, my Western Digital, to be honest, because it's the biggest one. But that shit's looking sexy because I had to get my friend Felix put me on the G-Skill RAM because when I go with my brother's computer I built for him with my friend's set of parts. See?
Yeah, I still gotta build my little brother's computer as well.
This is my big brother. Me and my brother are 10 years apart. I built this for him as a i9-10 900K, 64 gigs of the fat DR4 RAM, and a 4060.
That's what's up. That thing does look sick.
I made a better computer for my brother than me, basically, when I had my computer. This one. But yeah. Ain't gonna be able to see nothing, but who cares? Who's looking at the top, right?
My PC is right behind my whole setup, so I kind of just look at it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have it right here, so I gotta clean everything off my desk and take everything off. I mean, but yeah. All right, I'm gonna cable manage this thing, and I'm gonna probably try to join on Discord on the computer. I'm gonna plug everything up. Figure it out, alright?
Yes, sir. I'm gonna be right here. Okay. Not that much to do.
Alright. Deuces.
Yes, sir. really don't want to sweat and be all sticky and everything, that's why I'm just doing JDM cruising. I really want to play like, I don't know. I might end this stream and set up my my fan, my OnlyFans. No. Set up my fan. If my wife is watching this, wife, I'm just joking. Set up my fan and just I don't want it to make loud noise, and then that noise comes into. I mean, I can always adjust the settings, but you know, it's a whole process of working on it. And that's how I gotta start watching YouTube videos and all this stuff. But if I can get it to work, it's the only issue is where do I set it up? Because the whole thing, if it was night, I wish they sold like a black design, because it's white and the camera is definitely gonna pick it up. Because you see this ball right here, that's my shifter, my full manual, and my sequential is right here, but you can't see it because it's dark blue. And then obviously the handbrake. But if I turn this way, even the red wheel, you guys can see, but anything white on a GoPro will get picked up. And that's the fan. And I don't want to turn my neck and then y'all see this big ass fan just sitting there. So. And I can't have it underneath my feet either. But no. Try to figure something out. I always do. Anyway, what the heck do we want to do it? There's drivers now. Oh, TTB is still here. What up? He's AFK. The Handizi. Let's drive it this good road. Oh, there we go. This is exactly why you need a direct drive wheel. The Logitech and the other wheels, cheaper budget wheels, just don't cut it. As soon as you start hitting something, it's over. Direct drive wheel is just, it's like a real thing. Look at that. That's the exact same thing my car does. Obviously I made the wheel a little bit more lighter, but it's so and when you let it go and you're just cruising, it's not going crazy on you, you know, it's just, well, if we have the force feedback too high, it's definitely going crazy. If we have it just right. You can cruise with your hand off the wheel. The opposite direction. god, I almost killed him. Oh, it's so close. Jesus, if he had come in a little bit more to the left, I would have definitely burned him. Y'all let me know what y'all think about outside camera mode. Hold on. This is my GoPro camera mode. You know, which is a lot more realistic and everything because it's GoPro to expect. And then my webcam mode. Let me know if y'all like this mode as well. Obviously it shows you everything, but I just gotta adjust the camera where I can put it to the way so y'all can see more of the screen. So what do y'all think about this camera mode? Is it ass or is it good? And then at the top I can have either the rear view camera or I can have a third person camera. I mean, whatever camera mode. Y'all want to see that car? Drive. Y'all let me know if this camera mode is clearly not better than my first person mode, but it's not bad. They have my personal camera. I have this one set up a lot more further away so that you can see more of the rig. Yeah, this one really makes it look like I'm in a car and everything. And then I think I'm gonna leave this one the way it is because it's more of a zoom in effect. So y'all can see the cars better when I'm in this one. You can also see the rear cars that's chasing me as well. This one's more like a zoom in version. And then this one's more like a realistic out version. And you have this one where it's gonna have my bottom, my top. Then I have my face cam, which I don't know why I bought this cam, honestly. I don't know why I bought that cam. I was like, you know what, maybe they might want to see my face. And I was like, nah, they might not want to see black ass face. It's like, not a podcaster. I just have a fifth camera just sitting there. It's one of the days I just was like, oh, let me go to the store and pick up a Logitech camera, which I paid like $30 for. I have too many cameras. I think I'm gonna give that one to my wife because she wants to start her own streaming shit. Anyway, I like this one right now because I don't know. It puts me very close, and you guys get to see the windshield a lot more closer. And then this one is more of a when I'm feeling a little bit more realistic, which makes me feel like I'm in the car and and the seat is inclined and I'm a little bit more further from the windshield. So, and this one definitely makes it feel. This one you guys see the cars a lot more better, and the rear view cars as well that's behind me. Catch up with the Supra. No. I had nowhere to go. Oh, man. Not quite sure what the F to do right now. Got like y'all watching and everything. It's like, I don't know. One of these days I'll get the family down here and then we can make like a stream where we see who's the worst driver in the family. my god, really? Oh man, that car spawned right in front of me. I'm gonna go ahead and get upstream and set up the fan, which is over there somewhere in the box or something. And then if it's working just fine and it's not making a lot of noise, we can do some GT racing. Just mess around. I mean, it's like 10:08 p.m. right now. I think we wasted enough time as it is. I don't know. Might take an eating break as well. As you can tell, none of my homies are on. So it's a Tuesday. People are working. I should be working, but it's too damn hot. I decided to stay home. Yeah, sub up, like the video, and I'll start the stream up again later. In a couple of, I'll be like an hour later or something. I just want to eat real quick, watch something, set up the fan, figure out the whole sound so you guys don't hear it going behind the whole me talking. Hold on. That evil think I'm weak. I had to give him a little something. Okay, just when I'm finally about to take a break now, all these drivers want to hop in the server. It's crazy. Alright, fellas, I'm gonna catch y'all. We'll start the stream up again later.